We are starting out season 5. It is our preseason special here. We are going to take a look at all of the divisions here from the NFC to the AFC, and we're going to make some predictions, get all the guys' thoughts on the latest and greatest news so that you can choose which division you want to check out, or you can check them all out. We're also, of course, always live on YouTube and Instagram, or you can just email us and connect with us on enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. Gentlemen, welcome. Another season 5 here. We're going to start with the NFC East today.
Yes, indeed. Starting the NFC East. So let's jump right into it. Look, the Eagles. We're going to go with the Eagles team first because that's what everybody on this podcast me is a fan of.
Hold on. My thing is, why is the Dallas Cowboys first and the Eagles are third? Well, who did this?
The same guy who's wrapped in the Cowboys blanket.
Remember, somebody always put them first, and what they end up last. So
that's what I'm saying. That's like, really? I had the Giants first and the Cowboys last. I mean, I'd have been fine with that. But the Cowboys first? Come on, y'all.
It's alphabetical order based on the city name. That's what it is.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So
there's a method.
All right, I want to see San Fran last. All right, when we get to it.
But going into your Eagles, guys. Look, seems like the top story is going to be these new coordinators. I think that's going to be the key thing for the season. What do you guys think?
Well, it can't get any worse. Let's just say that.
Way to start it off, Sal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about the way they ended the season, the only way is up, right? I think, Vic Fangio, he's not going to like blitz a lot. He's not going to be flashy. If you're looking for that, that's not what he's going to be. He's going to come in, he's going to run his scheme. More, who's going to add more motion to it, maybe disguise a little more. But ultimately, it's got to be the players who are going to produce. And I still have questions about Jalen Hurts. But I'll tell you this, if Jalen Hurts can't produce this year with this team, Dre, I don't know, man. I'm done. He's got the weapons. No excuses.
Yeah, I mean, with the coordinators, man, this is all basically start over. The board has been erased, and it's a clean slate. We see what happened last season with, hiring Brian and those guys, and it was just a complete, utter mess. Even though we had the 10 straight wins, it was a problem from the get-go. And I also felt that, Nick Sirianni has lost the locker room. He lost everything. He didn't know what he was doing, honestly. And now we got these guys coming in, these coordinators, and it's veteran coordinators, like you said, on defense. So I'm looking forward to basically you need to show that you can do 10 straight wins again, but then finish the season by becoming an NFC champion.
Yeah, I mean, I totally probably disagree with Sal. You're talking about it can't get any worse. It can get worse. You know what I mean? Starting off with Green Bay and then, just looking at that schedule and all that stuff. I mean, God forbid if they lose against Green Bay. Where they at? London?
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. I mean, all hell's going to break loose, and pointing fingers and all that stuff. So God forbid they go 0-2. So, yeah, it can get worse. It can get worse. But also at the same time, it can get better. Yeah. I agree with Dre. Sirianni's a puppet. You know what I mean? Just like Mike McCarthy, and those cats around, some of them around other cats around the NFL. He's a puppet. I believe Jeffrey Lurie and Howie's got their hands in this cookie jar more than we know. Sirianni didn't have I believe he didn't have no decision in hiring these coordinators. They went into panic mode, and that's what we got. Now, like I said, this thing can go way south real quick. You know what I mean? But I don't want to promote that. I'm not trying to be a negative or anything. I'm hoping for the best. I'm optimistic, so again, another second year they had a draft. They had a good draft. So we'll see what happens. Everything is on paper for now. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think the two coordinators, both of them got a lot of experience. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they use the players and if the players fit the schemes. You know, you got like a Saquon Barkley. You know, are they going to run him? What kind of motion, all that kind of stuff they're going to do with Kellen Moore's offense. And then Vic Fangio, he's definitely not a blitzer kind of guy. He's too high safety defense. His defense did produce a lot of sacks. So I think they're hoping that, with that defense, a lot of coverage, that you can get a lot of pass rush. And, he has that 3-4 defense. So a lot of linebackers do a lot of if they do pass rush, that's where the pressure comes from. So we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be an interesting season. And I think if it don't go well, it's going to be all on the coordinators. And if it does go well, it'll be all about the coordinators.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, Sal said it right. Jalen Hurts has no excuse. No excuse whatsoever. That's just the bottom line. You got all these weapons. There's no excuse. You know what I mean? So let's see. You got this, 250 million? It's no excuse. Bottom line.
We're going to see who you are, Jalen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, speaking of, no excuses and whatnot. So we're going to go on to the Dallas Cowboys. And, the big thing with them, is their defense was really, offensively they produced last year. Their defense really was what people talked about. And Dan Quinn has moved on as a head coach. And so they brought in Mike Zimmer. So I want to ask you guys, do you think their defense is going to carry this team, or do you think they're going to fall and probably take the whole team with them?
Well, I mean, you got Lawrence, Parsons, and Diggs being back certainly is going to help. I think they missed him a lot last year. Are they going to have much depth behind that? No. So I think if they get an injury or two, or if things start going south, I just don't see them being able to be that effective, especially if Parsons, who hasn't really been injured yet. If God forbid something happens to him, I think you're going to see Dallas kind of be struggling a little bit.
I mean, you brought up Micah Parsons. Has the NFL caught up to him and say, "Hey, we know how to deal with this guy," because he's definitely a special talent. There's no question about that. But I saw last season the double team, triple teaming on him, and the frustration that was kicked in, and him saying some stupid off wall stuff for his poor lack of excuse, poor performance. So to me, man, I might be biased here, but Dallas ain't going nowhere. Their defense is going to be trash, honestly. But yeah, Diggs, that's definitely a help in the corner. But Zimmerman, I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't know.
I'm not really worried about Diggs. I mean, Diggs has been out for the whole season, and we'll see what he can happen. I mean, you got a whole, you've been off a whole year. Are you conditioned right? You know what I mean? Definitely he's going to be tested early in the season, you know what I mean, to see where he's at. So I'm not really worried about the Cowboys defense like I was a couple times in the year, last year and the year before, because the biggest thing is they got a bunch of turmoil. You got a whole bunch of contract disputes. You know what I mean? It's just a mess. You know what I mean? And it's definitely a bad reflection. It's definitely bad against him. And it all starts with their knucklehead owner, Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? From number one, I think he does, they don't know how to work the salary cap and stuff. And Dak is going probably next year. You know what I mean? CD, I don't know. Bottom line is, with the Dallas Cowboys, it's not even about what they put on the field. It's the turmoil. It's a bunch of turmoil off the field. That's what I'm thinking. And you're not going to see anything going on this year. I would be surprised if you see something. Yeah, I seriously doubt it, though.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys I think it's going to be a rough season. I think they'll get their wins, because they are the Cowboys. They still got talent. But it kind of feels like the writing's on the wall that it's all going to fall apart by the end of the season. But Mike Zimmer was a defensive coordinator back in 2013 was the last time he's been a DC. He's been a head coach or some kind of assistant ever since then. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does on his play calling, since he hasn't done it in 10 years. And then also, but he does have some history with the Cowboys. Apparently before he became the coach of the Bengals, he was a coordinator for the Cowboys, back with Parcells and whatnot. So we'll see. But Dan Quinn's defense on that team, last 3 seasons, they led the league in turnovers. They were the most opportunistic defense under Dan Quinn. So I think they're going to take a step back, and I think that's going to impact their offense and overall their team.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So we got everybody's favorite team, the Commanders. At least that's Hef and Tony and some of the guys that have been on the show. And all week you seeing these text messages, Jermaine, you're not getting them, but Sal and Dre, you're getting them from Hef about JD5, Jaden Daniels, number 5. So the question is, look, is he the next CJ Stroud? Stroud came into the league as a rookie and took over, and is this going to be, their time?
It's interesting because he's everybody's like, all right, is he going to be the next RG3 or whatever? He's bigger than RG3. I mean, 6'4", 210. He's got the durability that can in the frame to last a little bit longer. Look, he's going to be better. I mean, obviously, it's going to improve the position. Is he going to be Stroud? Probably not. You can't set that expectation on him. But I think he's definitely going to add stability to the position. I think they're going to be better. Is it enough to make the playoffs is going to be the question. I don't think so yet. I just don't think they have. Their defense is very good, but I just have some question marks around their offensive line and things that might kind of throw him in. With the rookie quarterback, it is hard when you're learning. So temper expectations. It's going to be better. Better days are ahead in Washington, but don't expect playoffs quite yet. Sorry, Hef and Tony.
What's interesting to me about this is, like, if you had Stroud in the Washington team last season, I guarantee he wouldn't be where he is today, because Washington has a history of the coordinators having problems. Remember Campbell, all the different, he was having trouble. RG3 was having trouble. I definitely, feel that Daniels will be definitely uplifting for them and having some positive direction for them to go. So, but I'm not sure about that coordination, the coordinators and stuff, and the quarterback coaches and everything, and how that'll play out because of Washington's history.
Yeah, the Commodores are going in the right direction. I mean, I think a couple times, we talked and all that stuff, and I predicted. I said it's not going to be this year. Last year, it's not going to be this year. They're another 2 years out. So this is definitely going to be another rebuilding season to see where you're at and all that stuff. So that's pretty much all I got to say with them. I mean, like I said, this year is like everybody's going to pay attention to see where they're at and stuff, and take it from there. But they are going, in my opinion, they are going the right direction. So, Hef and Tony, push the brakes, just relax and just look, and pay attention to see where you're going, because next year you guys might make a run.
Yeah, I think Washington is definitely looking like they're going in the right direction. It's interesting. They finally get like a true fresh start. I mean, They really only got like one holdover left, and that's Jason Wright from, I guess you could say, the old regime. And he already said he's leaving, I guess, when the season starts or as soon as the season's over. But I mean, new coach, new coordinators, new owner, new quarterback, new almost everything, it seems like. So I think there's definitely a chance. I think JD5 was probably, to me, one of the best quarterbacks in this draft to come out. So I had the highest expectations for him. He doesn't turn the ball over, so I think that's going to help them a lot. I think they do have some talent gaps to fill still, and this is not going to be the year to fill it. I think they're kind of already tapped out, but they'll make some noise. They'll be a tough out. I'll say that for sure. So we'll see how they do, but I think they're definitely going the right direction.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And that leaves the New York Giants, the G-Men, as they say.
G-Men.
So, look, the big questions for them is, by the end of the season, they're going to be rebooting this whole thing again. This is 3 years in with Brian Daboll and Joe Sheen as this GM, and they really produced a whole lot. Danny Dimes, too. So what do you guys think? Is it going to be over this year?
Devin Singletary, Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton. Okay. It might help a little bit, but you got Danny Dimes. And you got Drew Lock, and I call him Danny DeVito as the other backup quarterback.
Right.
I mean, come on. Like, if it was Al Pacino, would say, "What the hell is that?" I mean, it just doesn't going to work. I mean, come on. The defense is not there. I love the coach. I really do. But you need a quarterback, man. They need a franchise quarterback, and they just don't have it yet. They paid him like one, but they don't have it yet. Dre, go ahead.
I'm a piggyback off of you, man. Like the quarterback is definitely a question mark. And then what the coach has to work with, man, he doesn't really have anything to work with. I mean, think about it, man. I don't know if it's going to be a reboot, Mike. I just think it's going to be just a constant steady line with them, you know. So I don't know, Jermaine. I don't see him.
Number one pick again next. I mean, they'll be the number one pick, and for next year's draft. I mean, I don't know why they even on here. I don't know why we even talking about the draft. I mean, I'm sitting up there and I read with the owner. He's like, I'm glad we gave Daniel Jones that contract. I was like, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? You're a freaking idiot. 1 year from Duke, you know what I mean, and you give him all this money. It's starting from game one. That's what you talking about, Dre. You talking about this going steady, man. It's starting right here, and it's just going to go down, and you can't go any down unless you go to hell. You know what I mean? So,
hey,
again, why are we even entertaining this?
Pass.
You know, just,
I guess
that's what we should have done.
I guess Saquon Barkley's like, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, what there is nothing positive coming out of that Giants team. Nothing. You name me one. Sal named all people. I was like, oh, Slayton is still on the team. I mean, Slayton is like what? Tier 40?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out of the wide receiver. I mean, come on.
WR40.
Devin Singletary, like, yeah, he's chasing the money. You know what I'm saying? So that's all he was doing. Yeah, he's chasing the money. So, yeah, why are we on this? Go ahead, Mike. I'm done.
Yeah, I think the Giants, I think I said that was the worst thing that could have happened to them was that first year that Daboll was the head coach and they went to the playoffs. I think that was the worst thing that could have happened to them because it locked them into Danny Dimes. It locked them into trying to manage the status quo instead of getting him out of there and trying to reboot things. And they've been struggling ever since because then Danny Dimes got hurt the next year, and then now we're coming into year 3. And so now all the pressure's on. I think Daboll is a good coach. It looked like he had a lot of drama with his coaching staff, and that wasn't good look either. But, I could see them going 4-12 or something like that this season and, may have to reboot the whole thing again. The owner of the team might be like, you know what? Everyone's fired and start all over.
You really think Daboll's a good coach?
I think he's a pretty good coach. I mean, I think so. I mean, he coach of the year that first year. I mean, he had nothing.
Nobody didn't see.
I mean, other than Saquon. I mean, I think Saquon carried the team, and I think that's what everyone was mad about with Danny's contract. Was like, hey, you paid the quarterback, but it was the running back who really was carrying the team, not the quarterback. Yeah. And I think that also caused the division in the team too, because I think most of the players knew who really was the guy holding the team together, but they rewarded a quarterback who really didn't do the job, of leading. So yeah, I think I think if Daboll gets another opportunity somewhere else with a better organization, he'll probably do better. But he's not the first coach to get into a situation with a bad team and struggle to turn it around.
Undercover Mike, Giants fan.
All right, everybody.
Oh no,
that
is boy. That's some good stuff right there, Mike. Good positive stuff.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That is the NFC East in a nutshell. We can't wait to see what happens this season. And again, if you like what you see here, always subscribe to our channel on YouTube, of course. And then you can also email your comments to nfcrew@gmail.com. Everybody have a great Sunday and enjoy all the games, of course, as always. Talk to y'all later.
All right.